Hello Flosstube. Today is Tuesday the 3rd of June 2025 and this is Flosstube number 41. I'm Lindsay, Cheshire Stitcher, both here on YouTube and over on Instagram. Welcome to my channel. Mostly it's about cross stitch, but I do share other crafts, usually my beading, and I have got a little bit of that for you today, and it is only a little bit. Welcome back if you are a returning viewer, and a very warm welcome if you are one of the 11 new subscribers I've had since my last video, which in turn has pushed me over the 700 mark, so there will be a giveaway later on. If you are a new viewer here, very nice to see you, and if you haven't done so already, I would very much appreciate it if you could like this video and any others you may have watched. Maybe even hit that subscribe button. Right, admin bit done. So, what have I got for you today? I have a finish. I have some FFOs. I don't know. What's up? Who am I? A couple of new starts. I've got PhDs. Which, whilst I'm thinking about it, if you are new here, PhDs, potential happy dances. I don't refer to my projects as whips. They are potential happy dances because we all do a happy dance when we finish something. I've got my little bit of beading. I've got the giveaway. And I have some stash enhancement. Quite a bit of stash enhancement. I was on the Wrexham retreat. I've just realised I've not grabbed something. It's over there. So I'm just going to do that whilst I'm thinking about it. Trying to put my pad down for the picture so it doesn't fall off. I need that. And I forgot my board again. Every time. Every time. I don't know. Tell you. Right, let's get going, shall we? First of all, my finish. I finished my last love quilt square. So obviously I haven't got that to show you as ever, but last time you saw it, it looked like that. At least it was, I think it was that picture. I could be wrong. And if I am, I apologise. So yeah, last time it looked like that. And then here it is. Completed. So that's gone off to HQ. It is now on my page. If you want to see this or any other squares that I've done, well, if you go to the Love Quilts website and on the left hand side there's a whole list, and one of them is recently received squares. You can click on that. That'll bring up all the squares they've had in the last 2-3 weeks. It varies, but they all get uploaded. You find my name, click on that, and that will bring up all the squares I've done. So I don't want that all the way back up there. Come on, down to the bottom where you belong. Thank you very much. So let's go on to FFOs. If you follow me on Instagram, excuse me, itchy nose, you will have already seen this. I showed it you last time. I'd finished the stitching. This is the pin cube from the stitching box, my sewing box, that I bought last year at the Nimble Thimble. The one thing I bought. I got my partner to pick and he picked this, so there we go. That's my first finish. It's a bit iffy in one corner in particular, the corner I finished on, but I'm really happy with it, and it fits in the box because I've checked. And my other FFO, technically I didn't do. Whilst I was on the Wrexham retreat, I went to the Nimble Thimble on the Friday and I picked up this. This is I'm trying to get it without loads of reflections. There we go. This is Stretch. Excuse me, peering underneath. Here, an old TW freebie, unfortunately no longer available because she pulled all her dragons a few years back. I stitched him, I don't know how long ago. And because I was at the, and I've wanted to get him framed for quite some time, but it's just been a case of how do I work out how to get him down there to get him framed. Well, I went to a stitching day, as I told you in my last one, at the beginning of May. And I thought, ooh, I'm going again at the end of May. I'll take him. So there we go. He is exactly how I wanted him. Absolutely spot on how I wanted him. I do apologise for the reflections. There's not a lot I can do about it, but there we go. I just wanted him in a plain black frame, and there he is. Isn't he gorgeous? I thoroughly enjoyed stitching him. No idea what I stitched him on. Probably a 28 count, given that he's quite old. Well, he's not old. Well, he is, yeah. I probably stitched him 10, 15 years ago. I've no idea. I could probably find out, but, you know, do I need to? Excuse me, looking down is where my notes are. So, on to new starts. The first new start I had is my 4th Mania start and 13th of my 25 and 25. The scissor case there. Again, I gave my partner the choice and asked him to pick something, told him not that one, and that was the one he picked last time, so we went for the scissor case. So I started that on like 22nd, something like that, of May. As I say, my 4th Mania start for the year. And here it is. Now I have got a lot of stuff piled up beside me, so bear with if I muck something up. There we go. I think it was the 23rd. Would have been the 23rd because I started it on the Friday, and on the Saturday I went to the Cheshire Stitchers Day at Bromborough. So it's 32 count Ray of Light from Zweigart. I didn't use the colours that I was given, but I am using all the silks that came in the pack. And this is also part of my temperature stitching for this year, because I've decided to have a go at that. I did mention it. I'll tell you about that in a bit. And I'm also on Semi-Sane Stitches doing Uno for this month, and this has been called, so I've added an extra 100 stitches to it this morning for yesterday. With yesterday being Monday, I'm always going to catch up on a Tuesday with temperature and Uno and whatever else. So there we go. And this needle minder, when I mentioned in my last one that I'd ordered some nerd tubes from Wool Warehouse and a reel of sulky. Well, you know what sulky looks like, you know what a nerd looks like, so I'm not going to show you those. But I'd forgotten that I ordered that as well. So that came, and then I thought, oh, okay, there we go. So that is my first new start. And then my last Mania start, take it out of the plastic. I was going to do something else, and when I was looking through my charts, I came across that one. Now the copyright on this is 2006, so I've probably had it since pretty much when it came out. the Dreaming from Dinky Dies. I've always loved it, and I was flipping through my folders, I was looking for something else. Came across this and thought, right, that's it, I'm starting this one. So this is number 14 of my 25 and 25. It's also one of my Uno projects, and it's also one of my temperature projects. So I'm using 36 count white and the called for. Too much stuff, and I haven't got a big enough lap. So here's how I've gotten so far. I started it on Friday night at the Wrexham retreat, and put it away in disgust because I discovered that there was a mistake. Not mine, it's on the chart. See, each of these are 8 stitches long. Well, this first one that I did here on the chart is only 7. So it went away in disgust, and when I got home on Sunday night, I frogged it and redid it. And it was also, was it the it was the temperature chart for Sunday the 1st of June in Wrexham. So I this morning did the extra 100 stitches. I was going to do it on Sunday night, but I couldn't keep my eyes open. Couldn't keep them open last night either. There we go. So, as I was saying, before I so rudely interrupted myself, the threads. Both are Dinky Dye silks. This one is Aussie Jewels, which is number 97. And then that is Pacific Ocean, which is number 93. So next time it gets either called for, well actually no, it is called for Uno next for day 3. So I'll be doing that a little bit later on. I've got 200 stitches to add to it this time rather than 100, just because of the way the game works. So I will be adding the Pacific Blue later today. And that's that for new starts. So on to my PhDs. Before I do that, I've scribbled my notes this morning. I found a gap. I've written down my next video should be on the 15th of June, which is a Sunday, so it's like 2 weeks ago Sunday just gone. But if I keep going at this rate, there's going to be plenty of stitching for you anyway, even though it's going to be a couple of days shorter. So as I say, PhDs. As I said before, PhDs means potential happy dances. I don't call my projects whips, I call them potential happy dances, because we all do a happy dance when we're done. So in no particular order. First of all, I decided I need to catch up on my whip goes, so I do it every time, don't I? I don't know. I am working on, or this was my second whip go call for February. I've already completed one, so that's what it's going to look like when it's finished. And I don't like black fabric, so I switched it out for Fildus, F-I-L-D-I-A-S, from Sparklers. I'm sure that's how you spell it. I never say it correctly, I'm sure. And last time you saw it, there we go, get it right way round, in my whip parade at the beginning of the year, it looked like that. So my whip go goal is always to add 500 stitches to a project, and that's exactly what I added to this. There we go. So I completed, look at the picture, get it the right way around. Yeah. So I completed this one and did most of this one, and I did a little bit of filling here, and I filled in a leaf down here. But I'm quite happy with that. It's something I need to do in the summertime because I do struggle a little bit with the fabric. So I'm quite glad it came out early in the year. It may make another appearance later in the year because I feel like working on it. And we'll see how we go. But that is how she's standing at the moment. So my February whip goals are now complete and crossed off the list. So I'm catching up, slowly but surely I'm catching up. Then I worked on my steampunk portal, my Heaven and Earth design stitch along. This is getting very creased and crinkled, but you know, it's only a piece of paper, it's fine. If it gets too battered or it gets ripped, then I will print out another one. So that's what it's going to look like when it's finished. Last time you saw it, it looked like that. And I forgot to check how many stitches in total I've done, but I think it's just over, well, no, I added 500 and odd something to get it just over 1,000 stitches, because it is now my focus piece for semi-sewn stitches, and I hadn't worked on it all month, so I thought I'd better get it to the right number. So there we go. That's how far I got. Quite pleased with it, it's doing all right. Needle minder was a gift from Jeanette at Christmas, the infamous Jeanette. So I'll be pulling this out. I'm going to spend today catching up on temperature stitching and Uno stitching, and possibly something else if I get a chance, which is entirely possible because, as I've told you in my last video, my partner's gone off on a fishing trip. So peace and quiet. I can sit and watch Flosstube all day. I can watch what I want to watch on the telly in an evening, which was last night. I watched the Steam, not the Stairs, because I just looked at that. I watched Mario, Super Mario Brothers. I'd never seen that. So that was good, but I couldn't keep my eyes open. I did fight to stay awake. Right, other things that I have worked on. I haven't done them in a very good order. Where are you? Come on. Come on. There we go. This has had a little bit more attention. Not huge amounts. I can't work on it sitting here where I normally sit and stitch. I need magnifying and good light for it. Oh, it's a bit bright at the moment, so I may give it a go afterwards. This is Gathering Honey from Luminous Fibre Arts. This is the one remaining Whipgo, no, not Whipgo, Mania start from last year. So as I say, I do keep pulling it out and doing a little bit on it because it's on 45 count. So last time you saw it, it looked like that. There we go. I haven't done massive amounts. I think I've done a couple of sessions on it, and between the two I've added about 100 stitches. So that was that, and it now looks like this. So I finished off a thread coming down here, and then I've started to fill the centre of the bee skipping. It's not that far from the bottom, I don't think. No. So I think what I'm going to do is finish off this piece gap, and then see if I can bring this border down, because these are just going to be long straight lines. But I don't know, we'll see. See what I fancy working on, or what area I fancy working on when I next pick it up. But it's coming on okay. Fabric is 45 count Italian linen. I bought a set last year. I think it was last year, might have been the back end of the year before. Somebody was selling them on a D-stash site, 6 squares, I think the 6x6, 8x8, something like that, of linens, 2 40 counts, which I'm fine with, 2 45s and 2 50s, and I figured, well, at that price, if I can't work on them, I've not spent a fortune, but I am enjoying it. So I'm going to see if I can track down any more of this antique white 45 count, so that I can do the rest of the set all the same size. It would be nice to have them on the same fabric, but if I can't get antique white, then I'll have to make do with white. Maybe tea dye it a smidge, just to take the starkness out of it. So that's that one. Next up, I worked on, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Jeanette and I managed to get a session in on Sunflowers Farm. We only managed one day. Don't think we did it at all last week. General plan is to discuss on a Monday what day we're going to do it in the week. Well, I was just so busy last week with getting ready to go away and various other bits and pieces that I just didn't get a chance to work on it last week. So, as I say, I think we got one session in on it. So that is how it's going to look when it is finished. Last time, go away. Last time you saw it, it looked like that. If you remember last time, I kept showing you the wrong picture. That's definitely the right picture because I deleted every other single one of them. So that's how it was last time you saw it. And I did, as I said I was going to do, sew some fabric around the edges because it was causing me a bit of a problem. Kind of went a bit wonky there, but never mind. I can now work on it in the frame I want easier because I've got something to pull at to tighten the hoop. And there we are. This is what it looks like now. So I did that sunflower there and made a start on the bird sitting on the top of it. And that was it. It wasn't a massive amount, but that's fine. Any progress is progress. This is one of my 25 and 25, but I couldn't tell you what number and I forgot to check because, you know, I'm daft like that. And it's not until I start recording I think, oh, I didn't do, oh, I didn't do, oh, I forgot. Yeah. That's why the date for the next one is scribbled on a gap in my notes, because I was all set to record, just about to press the start button and thought, oh, you haven't done. So there we go. Next that I've worked on was the band Elizabeth Lincoln from Northumberland Sampler House, North Sampler House on Etsy. This band, if you remember last time I told you I'd started it, not taking into account that there was 2 alphabets, and because of the way the chart was marked for the centre, I just started in the centre and never thought no more about it, and had to frog the entire thing. So last time you saw it, it looked like that. Even though it had been started, you can just make out where I'd frogged it. So I made a restart on it in the correct place this time. And there we are. Not a massive amount done. If you're new here, I've always got hanging threads because I just put it down when I put it down. Go to bed or switch projects or I reach my target or whatever. So there's usually a hanging thread. But there we go. So that is that first flower done. I've got this down. I was just checking my temperature chart list. This is down on my temperature stitching, so you may well see it again in my next video because of that. Next that I worked on, I will try in the future and get them in order for you. I worked on, no, it's not that picture. No, I haven't got a previous picture. I thought I'd taken one, but it would appear not. Oh yes, I did. There it is. There we are. I did do one. My class heartstring samplery, Beth Twist and Peakside. This is happening in a month, so I need to get my skates on. But I have put this on. Oh, this is one of my Uno projects. I should know what's on my temperature, but I have to keep checking. So yeah, this is the class. The class is full and it's an exclusive, but we are allowed to share it. So the last time you saw it, it looked like that. I took this with me to the Cheshire Stitchers Day. I didn't get very much done. Spent a lot of time chatting. I also helped one of the other girls that's going on the class to get her fabric marked out so that she could start stitching because she was struggling to figure it all out. And that's how far I got. So basically I've done the plant pot. As I say, this is one of my Uno projects for semi-sane stitches, so this is going to get a lot more progress on it in the next few weeks. And it's probably going to be the project I pull out to work on when I am, sorry, scribbling off my list again, when I'm debating what I'm going to work on. Next we will go to, okay, because that picture's appeared, we'll do that. I pulled out, if you've been watching me for a while, you may remember I started a giraffe square for Love Quilts. Wasn't going to get it done in time, so I put it to one side. Well, it's now being done for a different square, so I don't have a picture of it printed out. I'll try and remember to do that for next time. Last time you saw it, it looked like that. And as you know, or may know, I take my Love Quilt squares with me to work on a Monday when I'm with the boys. So I worked on this yesterday and I put just over 100 stitches in it, mostly sort of around here, and I filled in a couple of gaps here. But again, this is one of my Uno projects, and it's also a temperature project to encourage me to work on it on a day other than a Monday, because otherwise it's going to end up getting way behind and I'm going to end up working like an idiot to get it done, ready to send off. Excuse me, got an itchy nose again. So there we go, that's my next Love Quilt square that is underway. Sorry, bear with me, I need a drink, half an hour in. And Jeanette, you'll be pleased to know the blue drink is back. I stopped having a blue drink because I couldn't get it, but I've managed to get some. So, Quaker Diamond. This was another mania start for this year. This is also on my temperature stitching, but it hasn't been come up as yet because we're only on the 3rd of June and I started it on the 1st of June. I've had this chart so long, it's an old photo. That's what it's going to look like when it's finished. And last time you saw it, it looked like that. No, not that. Oh, come on, where have you gone? Sorry, I happened to catch it with my finger. Let's go back to the main photos. Where are you? There. Sorry about that. Last time you saw it, that was how it was looking. I've only worked on it a little bit. I'm using 35 count, sorry, linen from Wheat Dye Works in linen and sulky threads, but for the over 1 letters in the centre and the initial, I'm going to use plain old DMC, which is what I've done. I've literally added the B, although as I'm looking at it, because obviously I see everything in reverse, it looks like a D, but it is definitely a B. You'll see it as a B. So not a massive amount done on it, but every little bit helps. This was a mania start and it's also a 25 in 25 start, and as I say, it's on my temperature list, but has yet to be called. So, next project to show you that has had some attention is the United Kingdom flag. No, that's not the picture. That one. That I'm doing for a customer of Doodlecraft. I was struggling to work on it because of all the fractional stitches until one of my lovely viewers, whose name completely escapes me at the moment, said, why don't you use a sharp needle? Never thought of that. So that's what I've been doing. So last time you saw it, it looked like this. Again, I've not had much time to work on anything. So I have made some progress, but not a lot. And I am going to get this finished this month because it needs to be done. I need the frame back, and the lady doesn't want to be waiting forever. So there we go. As you can see, all I've done is I did a little bit more of the red. Decided I was sick of stitching in nothing but red, so I've made a start on the blue. So it's coming on. Way too slowly, but it is coming on. This last weekend, I was at the Wrexham retreat and I decided that I was going to take my March Whitgo calls with me in an attempt to get caught up. So I took Wayward Garden, Drawn Thread. I think I started this about 10 years ago, and I really do enjoy working on it, but it kind of gets put back in the drawer upstairs and forgotten about until things like Whipgo come along. So that's what it's going to look like when it's finished. last time you saw it, it looked like, wrong picture. Oh, why do we keep doing this? I keep catching things and the picture vanishes. I don't know. I'm definitely having, if I had a brain I'd be dangerous day. That's how it was last time you saw it, which would have been my PhD parade at the start of the year. Thoroughly enjoyed working on it when I got to it, and I put in a total of 507 stitches. It's being done on, I think, 32 count bisque from Lakeside Linens, but I couldn't swear to that. I'll have to have a go and have a route round my books and find out. And I'm using the called for MPI silks, and here it is now. So I finished off all of this along here. I've done the flower in the centre. There's 2 shades of green in each of those leaves. When I'd done this red, I had a little bit left, so I added one of these flowers up here, and then I came and I moved along the bottom border. So here we are now. Oh, I shouldn't sit like this, it hurts. There we are. So I'd say I'm probably about halfway done. I just need to get my act together and start working on some of these older projects a little bit more, because I would like to see some of them finished, especially the ones that have been hanging around the biggest part of a long time. So very snazzy project bag. No idea where I bought it, but you know, really snazzy, isn't it? I then worked on my other whip call for March, and I had hoped to get it finished on the Saturday night, but I had to keep frogging, so in the end I only managed 300 stitches. I don't have a finished picture for you, but it is Hendrika Gast. There we go. This was a summer, oh flipping heck, summer stitch along with Sew ID. So I never know how to say that. SOEDIDEE last year. They will be doing another one this year. Starts around about the 28th, I think, of June, called the Black Rooster. I will link all of these things that I'm mentioning down below, but that is how it started off. And I managed, as I say, I had to keep frogging, and as it turned out, I managed to get dead on 300 stitches in. So I thought, right, I'm going to go to bed, and I was planning on finishing the stitches off on Sunday evening, but I just couldn't keep my eyes open. So here we are. So I did that little orange flower there, I did that crown, I did the Y, the Z, finished off this line, and then came down and made a start down here. Because I'm home, I'm going to finish that thread off, and then I may well do some more of these eyelets, because they're much easier to do at home when I've got nothing to distract me. So I've got 200 stitches left to do on Hendrika, and that will be another whip go call done. So I may see if I can do that today, but I have got other stuff that I need to get done today. I'm using 35 count Weeks tin roof that I bought at Wrexham last year from Sally, Flossy Sews and Grows, and the sulky conversion that they gave you, and I bought a pack for. The bag for this is one that I made myself with some sample fabric. Well, if you look really close, it's all I'm sure, I know it's really close, but it looks like a chart. Everyone looks like a chart. So that's that one. And then I have one last one to share with you. Now, you may know that Lynn, the Lancashire Stitcher, had a not very nice comment a while ago. Well, not that it wasn't nice, it was just sort of along the lines of, because you stitch dragons and fantasy things, that's why your mum's got cancer. So, in response, she started a new dragon piece and decided that there was going to be a stitch along hashtag dragon stitch for mum. Well, lots of us have decided to take part in that. I did think about having a new start, but decided that because I was at Wrexham and I'd already had one new start there, I was going to pull out an older project. This one. He must be 10, 15 years old since I've worked on him. I've had the kit that long, it cost £20 for the kit. Nowadays, it would cost you probably £50. So I pulled out him to work on, and when I pulled him out, he looked like that. Again, you will have seen this in my PhD parade at the start of the year. So that was what he looked like when I pulled him out. And I managed to get 180 stitches in on him at the retreat, and here he is now. So I did a little bit here on the crystal ball that he's got his foot on, and then I've just sort of been filling in and done some of the other colours around here. 180 stitches is a good start for me. I'm quite happy with that. I'm still debating whether or not to start another project or to keep going on this one, because again, it's been on the go for so long, it would be nice to see him finished. So we'll see what happens with that. So that is the end of PhDs. So next I'm going to show you my beading. I haven't been doing very much beading. Various reasons. One being that I've been away for the weekend. The light that I take with me is my beading light, and so far I haven't plugged it back in. So I've just been getting up in the morning, making a cup of coffee and coming and sitting down and stitching. Normally I've got my partner at home, so that's not possible. So I've just not been beading, which is fine, you know, it's okay. I did finish the Christmas ornament I was doing last time, but I can't show you that as yet, obviously. So I went back to my main project, which is this, the Stacking Tree by Julia Prettle. I've done the first 4 tiers now, so I'm now on tier 5. And that's as far as I've got. I'm still using number 4 for the darker colour, and this time I am using DB605, which is a nice Christmas green. Again, looked through my stash, see what I had plenty of. I did think about a yellow, and then I saw this, so I did that. So that's it for beading. Excuse me. Now, as I said, I've reached 700 subscribers, and I said I was going to do a giveaway when I reached 700. So, first of all, I'm going to give away the chart for this, which is the Cotton and Twine box from January this year. I've already stitched it. It was really, really fun and enjoyable. I know there's a lot of pink on it, but never mind. So that's number 1. Keyword for this one is happy. And then second one that I'm going to give away is the chart for silver and gold. Literally all there is, like I say, when I got it, I bought it in a box. You got that. That's the chart, but it's got all your key and everything on it. It's not huge. Let me there you go. That's how big the chart is. It's not very big at all. So that's the other one. And the key for that, key word for that is house. It's not a requirement, but if you want to put them both into a sentence just to make me smile, that would be really nice. Please be a subscriber to enter. You need to be over the age of 18 because I will need to ask for your address to send it to you. And because they're only paper, I will send them anywhere in the world. So, yeah, I think that's everything I'm supposed to say, isn't it, for a giveaway? I will close it. No, it wasn't everything. I will close it on the 14th of June, so the day before my next video. So you've got like 12 days to enter. Plenty of time. If you're leaving now because you don't want to see stash enhancement, bye. I'll see you in the next one, I hope. And then off we go on the haul. Like I say, there is a fair bit, but there's been a lot going on. So we went to, no, not we, I went to Cheshirestitchers for the day on 24th of May, and we were given a little organza bag with floss drops in. Now my friend Kate that goes, I've just realised I completely forgot something. Bear with me, I'll be back in a sec. Oh no. Oh, how could I? How could I forget? My friend Kate, when we got there, she says, I've got something for you. Look. Isn't he gorgeous? She says to me, I've never made an animal before, and he turned out a bit bigger than I thought he was going to be, and he's not perfect, and there's bits where there's a bit wonky, and I'm like, you've made it. He's been made with love. So he's gorgeous. I absolutely adore him. He sits on my beading chair, and I can't believe I forgot to pick him up. Oh, it's only because I mentioned Kate. I do apologise, Kate. But I absolutely adore him. People kept saying to her, can you make me one? Can you make me one? He's made with chenille, and his head has always got this slightly quizzical look on him because his head doesn't want to stand up straight. And I don't care. I absolutely adore him. He's so soft and squishy and cuddly, and oh. So I think I'm going to have to show him in my next video as well, because if people have gone because they didn't want to see the haul, they'll have missed him. Isn't he fabulous? I absolutely adore him. He's such a lovely, lovely thing. He hasn't got a name as yet, but I love him. And look at all his little loops on his back. Oh, I love him. I can't believe I forgot to show him. Such a bad friend. Sorry, Kate. So there we go. I do apologise about that. I don't know. Back to the stash enhancement. Can't believe I feel really bad now that I forgot. So I might have to show him in my next video as well, because people may not have seen him. Anyway, back to the Cheshire Stitchers Day. We got some floss drops. Now my friend Kate, that prompted me to remember that I'd not picked the giraffe up, stupid woman, doesn't like floss drops, so she always passes me hers. So I end up with twice as many as everybody else, because she doesn't like them, she doesn't use them. Not a problem. I'll have them. But also in our bag, we had a little pair of scissors as well. So you could pick the colour of scissors you wanted. So obviously purple. And they are really sharp. They are a really nice pair of scissors. So they've been in my box. You might remember a while ago I showed you a jewellery box for a stitchy box. So I bought, no, I didn't buy. So we got those as a gift when we got there. And Rachel from Talking Dog Stitcher was the vendor this time. And we could do a pre-order with her, which I did. So I pre-ordered Erin Elizabeth's Bee Farm and Saltbox Sunflowers, and it's got a massive house on it, but I can live with that. I don't make a point of stitching houses. I try to avoid them, but sometimes. And I also got a piece of gunmetal Weeks Dye Works 36 count. I got a piece of a fat 16th of gunmetal. That is looking really purple, and obviously gunmetal isn't purple. Let's try it with the board behind. Better. That's better. It's still showing a bit purpley, but it isn't. It's a lovely, lovely dark grey. So I thought I'll give it a go. I don't normally stitch on dark fabrics, but I thought I would give that one a go. Sorry again, Kate. I went with a list of weeks and gasts that I wanted for bumblebee etchings. So I got all bar one. I keep dropping them. Butterfingers. So those are my threads for bumblebee etching that my daughter gave me for my birthday. Bar one, which I got at Create last time. And obviously she had a pop-up shop, so I got myself sewing sundries from October House Fibre Arts. It's part of the set that has that one in it, the snip that I did quite a while ago. I also picked up the tomato row. Again, it's to do with stitching because tomato pincushions. And then Jeanette said to me, find a Christmas chart, buy 2 copies of it, one for her, one for me. So I picked that one. Cocoa quilt. It's alright, I'm just covering the price up because, you know, the price might change between me buying it and you buying it. So I don't want you to think, oh, she only paid that. So there we go. Those were my goodies from Rachel at Talking Dog Stitchery. Where's that gone? Sorry, like I said, there's loads of stuff piled up here. Before I even went there, my Silks For You monthly colours arrived. So I get a 15 metre skein of 4 different colours each month. So we have PR153, PR130, PR162, very autumnal one, that one, and CM10, sort of a peachy pinky kind of a colour. I've tried to do the stash enhancement in the order it arrived, and that should have been first, but never mind. And then before I went, it's down on the floor, I got my cotton and twine box. You've probably seen this lots of times on lots of different videos, but I haven't shown you the last couple of them. So it comes, as it always does, with the lovely wax paper. We get our design, which I love. So we've got some swans this time. I can't remember who designed it. Let's have a look. No, doesn't say. So I would guess that it is a historical sampler company design. We get our paper bag with our fabric, which for me is the 32 count linen. It's also got the rip rack to finish it off, and your threads, and there is a needle in there as well. We always get a tea bag. Well, this is Earl Grey. I don't like Earl Grey, so it's gonna sit there forevermore and a day. I don't like Earl Grey. My mum loved it. My mum would have enjoyed that. We get a marsh and mallow chocolate covered vanilla marshmallow. Now I've shown you that, I can have that after I've had my lunch. A big bar of hand soap, which is great because I like hand soap. I would much rather have a bar of soap than liquid, pumpy liquid. Far more environmentally friendly because they tend to come wrapped in paper. Paper's infinitely recyclable, whereas the plastic tubs aren't. And you get the piece of rip rack to finish it off. So let's put those bits back in there. And then last bank holiday. So from the 23rd to I think about midnight on the bank holiday Monday, Bothy Threads was having a sale on their, apart from the newest one, their boxes. Well, I've already got the Robin one. Can't think of the name of it. But this was half price. I've looked at this a few times and thought, I'm not so keen on some of the bits that are in it. But when it's half price, so it was like £17 for the box. Well, I think £17 for the project is pretty reasonable. So this arrived Thursday, the day before I was off to the retreat. So it comes all packaged up nicely with some lovely lilac paper. And then in the box we get a list of the box contents. It's my needle, or needles. There is a plantable pen and pencil set, which are great, but I don't have a garden, which is one reason I'm like, but they're not really that much use to me because I don't have a garden. Some little plastic floss drops, which again, not my thing. I don't mind a floss drop, but I don't like plastic ones. I can't put an extra hole in them to hang my little extra bits and pieces on, so I don't know what I'm going to do with them. We got really nice, put it the right way up, lovely needle winder to So that can now go into use. We got a tote bag to keep everything in. So that I might use that as a project bag. Put a zip in, chop the handles off, put a zip in it and use it as an oversized project bag. Might do. Some mindful colouring in, which I probably won't do. And then we get, that's some wildflower seeds. Again, not really much use to me because I don't have a garden. And most of the people that I do know that have a garden are very well established gardeners and aren't going to want some wildflower seeds. That's, oh, well, so I'm looking at it thinking needle and thread. I've already got a needle. That's all the beads and the sparkly bits for it. Unfortunately for me, it's an Ada, but those are the colours. Aren't they gorgeous? Beautiful summery colours. But unfortunately, like I say, it's Ada, so that will be switched out when I come to stitch it. And then that's the design. So I have admired this for some time, but I've been a bit, it's, £34 is a lot of money for a project that's A, on aid that I'll end up switching, and B, has things in it that aren't going to be of any use to me. But I decided that seeing as it was half price, I was going to splash out. So there we go. So that's the Bothy social box. Now again, I can put it all away. See if I can find anybody that would like some plantable pen and pencil and some wildflower seeds, because no garden. And then, so we are now on to the retreat stuff. We could order from Hazel, Pretty Little Thread Keeps. We could order the set for this year's retreat, which I did. So I got the needle minder. So I've been using that all weekend. We got ring bling, and we get on it, there is a little sheep charm and a daffodil. And we got a scissor fob. Again, little sheep and a daffodil on it. And then we got some floss drops. I do like Hazel's floss drops, they're lovely, and that obviously gives you a much better idea of what the picture is. Now again, I have twice the amount of floss drops because Kate also ordered a set and had every intention of giving me the floss drops, so I've got twice the pile of everybody else. Oh, I've missed one. Hang on, I missed one. And we have a little bag charm or scissor fob or whatever you like. You could use it to just put anything you wanted to. That was the other thing, I've just missed that. It fell out the bag. A lady came round and left some floss drops on everybody's table. I think this was my set. And again, Kate doesn't like floss drops, so I ended up with hers, but I can't remember which set was which. But one was hers and one was mine. We had a freebie table, and I picked that one up. I quite like that. Bit different. It's got all 4 samplers in it. Not so keen on that one. It was this one that drew me. So there we go. So that was on the freebie table. I did take a fair few bits for the freebie table as well. Now while we were there was a lady stopping in the hotel who, I don't know if she was stopping or if she was a local that used the hotel, but she found out that we were there, and she'd had a friend who'd passed away recently. I think it was recently anyway. And she brought this lady's stuff because her husband had given it to her to get rid of. So she brought it all these boxes of assorted things for us to go through, and we were to give a donation to Alzheimer's. So Lynn collected the money up. The last I heard, it raised about 50 quid, which is not bad. So I got myself a frame, because, you know, this sort of size scroll frame, always good. In fact, it might fit Ada, but so you never know. And having a route through, I also found this bag. So it's got reels of fire line in it, which is what I use for my beading. So the beading that I showed you earlier uses fire line. And then it's got some, looks like wire and monofilament, but the bag was worth it for the fire line because fire line is expensive. Unless you're lucky enough to find it in a fishing shop where it's just fire line and not got the beadsmith on it, because the beadsmith repackage it and charges a fortune, which is a bit unfair, but there you go. Mary from, oh sorry, that was in the bag as well with the things from Hazel. Move something and find it. Mary from Create Nostalgia came on the Saturday night and brought us a little bag with some sweeties and a needle tin in, and we had a gold needle in the tin. Always handy to have a needle case. On the Friday, as I said, I went to the Nimble Thimble, picked up my framing. Sorry, it's in a paper bag. I do apologise about the crinkling. I picked up a little Mill Hill kit. It's a snowman. What can I say? You know me, snowmen. I'm a sucker. Sucker for snowmen, giraffes and sunflowers. Some cardboard bobbins, because I've run out and I prefer the cardboard ones to the plastic ones. When I was there at the start of the month, I kind of fell in love with this chart, but I thought, well, no, because I'm not going to get it now, because I'm going to be back at the end of the month and that'll give me something to buy. So I picked up that, Vintage Flowers, mostly done Gentle Art Weeks and Classic Colour Works. I've perhaps got quite a lot of those, so I picked those up. That up. And she had one of the new Primrose Cottage. She didn't have the other ones. The stitching rules. Well, you know me, I'm a sucker for anything that is stitching related. So you can add that to the list as well. It's done in colour and cotton, which I don't have, so I will be using the DMCs. We had a de-stash table there, so I picked up that. It's 36 counts, but I don't know who. You know what I mean? It's a Zweigart base, but it's definitely a dyed one. And I just thought, oh, let me try my board, because it's not as pale as it looks. That's better. Still not brilliant, but it's better. No idea what I'll stitch on it, but I thought, oh, I like that. and I don't have much in the way of coloured 36 count fabrics. I also picked up off the de-stash table. Sorry, I put them in a bag because they all came off the same person. We've got cross stitches to-do list. One of those things that's actually been on my wish list for a while. I can now go and cross it off. It's all done in DMCs. It's not big. It's 81 by 141, so it's not huge. It's not something that's going to take ever more than a day to do. And I also picked up, I like a marking sampler. Needlework press marking sampler and Miller. So that's what it's going to look like when it's done. And Luminous Fibre Arts Gathering Stitches, which is one I didn't have. Which is why I'd like to try and find some more of the 45 count linen. So, Sally from Flossy Sews and Grows was there. And I got her Cinnamon Stars chart that she's recently finished. So this is one of those ones I've liked for a while. I thought, oh, I'll have that for de-stash. But she also had a box of things. Now her daughter is in the Scouts and trying to raise the money for a trip. She did say where, but I can't remember. And they'd done this car boot sale and they had this basket of craft things. So she brought it along thinking I can get rid of some of that, I can sell some of that. She sold a lot of things on eBay. Apparently there was a lot of beading things. She sold a lot on eBay. Some of the other parents took clothes and some parents took shoes and some parents took, because that's what they know about. So Sally took the craft stuff. So I picked up this one. This is a Jean Power kit that will have cost a fair bit originally, and it's been one of those ones that I've looked at and thought, oh, I like that, but so it is fully kitted. We have the full instructions, complete full book. And it has Swarovski flatback crystals in, which are now discontinued, which is one reason I got it. And then we have our beads. And from experience, I know that Jean Power is extremely generous with her beads. Extremely generous. We've got a needle, obviously. That's another colour of beads for it. We've got the reel of Nymo, and they look like 2mm for whatever part of the pattern those are required. So I got that. And obviously it comes in a case with beading mat in it. So you've got a nice carryable case to work out with. And then there was that one as well, which is probably not something I would ever make or wear, but I got it because some of these beads are hard to find in this kit. So I thought, well, and sometimes a pattern calls for one or two and you just can't get them. So I got that as well. And then the last thing I picked up off the de-stash table, and if you watch Mama Loves You GB, you'll have seen this because I bought it from her. So yes, this weekend we had myself, obviously, Linda Lancashire Stitcher, who organises the weekend, Emma S Stitches was there, Sally from Flossie Sews and Grows was there, and Michelle, Mama Loves You GB. It was nice to meet her, actually. I have been watching her, and yeah, it was nice to meet her. So I bought that off her. So there we go. And then, what's that? Oh, last bit of haul, and I've just thought it would help if I showed you something else, wouldn't it? I would explain something. Anyway, so on the Saturday, we went to Create Nostalgia, and I picked up the other two from Primrose Cottage from the set that she's recently released, so the Stitching Quaker and the Stitching Quilt. They're not big. Again, they're done in colour and cotton. I'll use the DMC. That's 83 by 85 and 73 by 73. So they're not huge things. They are the kind of things that I could quite easily get done fairly quickly. I picked up everything I could. I think there was maybe one missing. This is to kit up something. I'll show you the chart in a minute. There we go. Mostly Simply Shaker. I'm looking at the one at the stand and I'm thinking, why can't I find this colour? Why can't I find this colour? Because dumb me was looking at Classic Colour Works, not Gentle Art. So those are virtually all of the colours, well, the ones I didn't have. I think there's one missing. A friend lent me, she had this with her at Yorkshire Stitchers last year, and she's let me borrow it because I like a couple of the samplers that are in it. So the charts that the threads that I bought were to do this one. I don't want to fold it back because it's not mine. This one, which is A Shields 1824. So you've got A Shields, and then you have her sister H Shields. Most of the colours are carried over from the between the two. So I bought the Gentle Arts and Weeks and things that I needed for that, so that I can get these started hopefully towards the end of the year. And then the last thing I bought, now this is another one of those projects that I have actually been looking at and coveting for a while. The Snowman Mantle. Fully kitted. You've got all three parts are in it. It's done on 20 count something or other, and I was looking at it, I pulled it out and looked at it, and I'm thinking, one thread over 20 count, and then realised it's all pearl cotton. So I've got everything I need. There's my fabric to start it on, and of course, being 20 count and pearl cotton, it's going to be a fairly quick thing. That's all the threads for part A. Then we get part 2 with all the threads, and obviously that's all the threads for part 3, and that's what it's going to look like when it's finished. So yeah, as I say, I've been coveting it for a while. And if you go to the Nimble Thimble when you're not the Nimble Thimble, Create Nostalgia, when you are on a retreat and you pay in cash, you get a discount. So I'm a cash girl, so I'd had my money all set. And then I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but Mary at Create Nostalgia stocks some of my bags. So if you ever go there or you look at the website, the smaller bags, not the big ones, the smaller ones are mine. Well, she'd sold some of them, so she gave me the cash. So that was over half paid for with the money from the bags. So technically I didn't spend that much. But there we go. I do apologise for it being so long, an hour and 21 minutes we're coming up to. I blame all the stash and all the stitching. There won't be stash next time. Well, there might be a few odd bits, but nothing like this. I've just realised I forgot one. A lady on one of the de-stash sites was selling some pieces of fabric, and they arrived while I was away. So we've got a piece of 28 Cashel Platinum, 32 count Belfast Platinum, and the reason I bought it was that one. 36 Stars Hollow Blend, R&R Productions. Just ignore that. That's why I bought it. I'm not so bothered about those two pieces. They will probably end up, well, not the 32, but the 28 may well end up in a freebie table, or I'll give it away to somebody that can use it. So we're now coming up to 1 hour 22 minutes. So I do apologise for the length of it. I do, like I say, I blame all the stash enhancement. I don't normally have so much, as you know. I might have one or two things. It's rare for me to have so much. But there we are. So I am going to love you and leave you. You take care of yourselves. I will be back, unless anything major happens, on 15th of June. Until then, happy stitching. Don't forget to enter the giveaway if you want. With something to entertain me if you feel like it. Just the word is fine, but something to entertain me is always good. Bye.